Hi, my name's Alister Chapman, and I was recently asked by Sony to put this little camcorder here through its paces. This is the PXW-X70 camcorder. Now, for the shoot, I went down to a local steam heritage railway in Hampshire in England, and it was a bright sunny day, so really challenging, very high contrast situation to shoot under. A brilliant bright sky with a few very bright puffy white clouds in the sky and some very dark trains. So for any camera that would have been quite a challenging situation. Now, another challenge of shooting on the railway is that the trains only come into the stations about once every half an hour. And when they're there, they're not there for very long. So you have to get the shots very quickly. You have to be able to work really fast. And actually that's one of the real strong points of this camera, because ergonomically it's really great. So let's just have a look at that to start off with. So if we look at the side of the camera here, where the hand grip is, right here where my index finger is, there is a button for zooming in for focus magnification. So this just zooms in the image on the LCD, and that makes it really easy to check your focus, and I can do that with my index finger. Then I have the zoom rocker here, and then where my little finger is, there's another button, and these buttons are actually assignable, so you can assign different functions to them if you choose. And this button is a one press auto iris button. Then on the back of the hand grip just here, where my thumb falls, there is a joystick that I can use to go through the camera's menu system. So again, without letting go of the camera, I can run through the menus with the thumbstick here. I can check my focus using the focus magnification button here, and I can set the aperture using this little button by my little finger. So from an ergonomic standpoint, the camera is really very good. In addition, we have an OLED viewfinder here on the back of the camera that makes the camera really easy to use in bright sunshine in a high contrast situation. A new higher resolution LCD panel, so higher resolution than the AX100 camera, which kind of looks similar to this, but it's actually quite a different camera. For exposure control, it's very easy. There are three buttons here: iris, gain and shutter speed, and these allow you to manually control each of these settings through this little wheel here. On the back of the camera, there is a switch to switch between auto and manual very quickly. And then when you're in manual, there is a selector here to select the ND filters. The camera has 3 built-in ND filters plus a clear position, and that really allows you to control your depth of field. This is a 1-inch sensor, so it's quite a large sensor, about the size of a Super 16mm sensor, a little bit bigger than 2/3 inch. And by using that big sensor in conjunction with the ND filters, it gives you great control over your depth of field. So if you need a slightly shallower depth of field for a more filmic look, you can get that by using some ND. If you want a deeper depth of field, you take the ND out and you'll have a much deeper depth of field, which makes run and gun style shooting very much easier. Now, that large sensor brings some other benefits. It's a 20 megapixel sensor, so very high resolution, and the camera is 4K ready. There'll be a 4K upgrade process for this camera next year. And because we're starting off with such a high resolution image, what you end up with is that your on-screen pictures, even in HD, contain an incredible amount of detail. They're really sharp and crisp without being excessively over-enhanced or sharpened. So let's take a look at one of the clips from the film. So this is the edit project for Dancers on the Line, and if we look at this clip here of this train sitting in the station, first thing is that if we zoom into the clip, so if I just zoom in here and we enlarge the clip to 200%, and we look in the shadows, look in the darker parts of the picture, you'll see there's very little noise. The pictures are very clean, very low noise image, and it's a really nice picture. Now, the other thing is, because it's such a clean picture and the codec, which is XAVC 10-bit 422 long GOP at up to 50 megabits per second if you want. There is also AVC HD and there is also standard definition DV, but for this I used the 50 megabit XAVC. It's a really powerful codec. It's 10-bit, so you can really do a lot of manipulation with the footage in post. So if I add a color corrector to this, so I'm just going to add the fast color corrector, and then we start messing around with the gamma. Let's bring the gamma up a bit. Let's then bring the blacks down a little bit so we can make the picture a bit more contrasty, put in some more color. We can really manipulate the clip and grade it quite aggressively, and it doesn't fall apart. It really holds together very, very well. So let's just take the effect off, so we're looking back at the original footage now. And the other thing, as I mentioned, is that the image is very sharp because it starts from that very high resolution image. And if we look at this picture, we see lots of detail in the grass and in the leaves of the tree. And if we zoom into the image a little bit, and let's just look at those areas, we can look at the grass and we can look at the trees, you'll see that there aren't the nasty black edges that you sometimes get around a lower resolution camera where it adds artificial sharpening to make the picture look sharper than it really is. And this really helps this camera to have a slightly more sort of filmic look. It's a very natural look, and I think the color reproduction is really good. So that's the Sony PXW-X70 and how I used it with the dancers on the line video. Please take a look at the video. Really nice little camcorder, very compact, really easy to work with, and that XAVC codec 10-bit 422 is a real delight to use in post-production.